3 retaliatory strike scenarios.
When are they operational?
At the President's command.
No prep time.
We're there.
All 3 scenarios are comprehensive, meet the obligations of proportional response, and pose minimum risk to American personnel and assets. Scenario 1, or Pericles 1, to use its code name, sir.
What is the virtue of a proportional response?
I'm sorry?
What is the virtue of a proportional response? Why is it good? They hit an airplane, so we hit a transmitter, right? That's a proportional response.
Sir, in the case of Pericles 1...
They hit a barracks, we hit 2 transmitters.
That's roughly it, yes, sir.
This is what we do. I mean, this is what we do.
Yes, sir. It's what we do. It's what we've always done.
Well, if it's what we do, if it's what we've always done, don't they know we're going to do it?
Sir, if you turn your attention to Pericles 1.
I have turned my attention to Pericles 1. It's 2 ammo dumps, an abandoned railroad bridge, and a Syrian intelligence agency.
Those are 4 highly rated targets, sir.
But they know we're going to do that. They know we're going to do that. Those areas have been abandoned for 3 days now. We know that from the satellite, right? We have the intelligence.
Sir.
They did that, so we did this. It's the cost of doing business. It's been factored in, right?
Mr. President.
Am I right, or am I missing something here?
No, sir, you're right, sir.
Then I ask again, what is the virtue of a proportional response?
It isn't virtuous, Mr. President. It's all there is, sir.
It is not all there is.
Sir, Admiral Fitzwallace.
Excuse me, Leo. Pardon me, Mr. President. Just what else is there?
The disproportional response. Let the word ring forth from this time and this place, gentlemen. You kill an American, any American, we don't come back with a proportional response. We come back with total disaster.
Mr. President, are you suggesting we carpet bomb Damascus?
I am suggesting, General, that you and Admiral Fitzwallace and Secretary Hutchison and the rest of the national security team take the next 60 minutes and put together an American response scenario that doesn't make me think we are just docking somebody's damn allowance. Keep your seats. There's a delegation of cardiologists having their pictures taken in the Blue Room. You wouldn't think you could find a group of people more arrogant than the 15 of us, but there they are, right upstairs in the Blue Room. You called me?
Yes, sir. Mr. President, we put together a scenario by which we attack Hassan Airport. Its 3 main terminals and 2 runways. In addition to the civilian casualties, which could register in the thousands, the strike would temporarily cripple the region's ability to receive medical supplies and bottled water. Now, I think Mr. Cashman and Secretary Hutchinson would each tell you what I'm sure you already know, sir, that this strike would be seen both at home and abroad as a staggering overreaction by a first-time commander-in-chief. That without the support of our allies, without a Western coalition, without Great Britain and Japan, and without Congress, you'll have doled out $5,000 worth of punishment for a $50 crime, sir. Mr. President, a proportional response doesn't empty the options box for the future the way an all-out assault would.
Thank you. Does anyone have a cigarette? This other plan.
Pericles 1, sir.
Pericles 1, yes. No civilian casualties?
We can't promise that, sir.
But you're as certain as you can be.
Yes, sir.
And what are the military implications?
We'll cripple both their intelligence network and their surface-to-air strike capability.
Very well. How does this work?
You give me the go order, sir. Mr. President.
Hi. We're going to have a briefing by the Treasury Department on the market adjustment.
Market adjustment?
That's what we've been asked to call it. That's going to be 9 tomorrow morning. And with that, the lid is full. You can all go home.
CJ.
Bruce.
I've got a source at the Pentagon who says in the last few hours there's been massive troop movement on the Kashmir border.
In the last few hours?
Yeah.
I think you need to get a new source at the Pentagon, Bruce.
There's nothing to it?
What kind of troop movement?
Something like 300,000 troops and a few warships.
300,000 troops.
Yeah.
I think someone's having a little fun with you, Bruce.
You sure?
I was just in the Oval Office 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, CJ.
Thanks,
Sir, already intense fighting has occurred between Indian troops and Pakistani border garrisons. The ceasefire line's been breached in 2 thrusts, with 5 divisions invading the area north of Kargil and a 2-corps-sized force that's crossed west into Azad.
Bobby?
In the past hour, Prime Minister Mohammed has spoke on television saying that after enduring endless provocations and incessant acts of thuggery by the criminal gang running Pakistan, India's forbearance has been exhausted. In the name of peace, India is acting to put an end to Pakistan's outlaw aggression once and for all.
And Pakistan.
They're condemning India's unlawful aggression and pledging all-out resistance.
Well, we've got ourselves a ball game.
Yes, sir.
When do we get the nuclear briefing?
This afternoon, 1500.
3 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Through the Freedom of Information Act.
What kind of information they're looking for?
He has information about the investigation.
It wasn't an investigation.
I'm sure Josh will mention that.
Did you bring a lawyer?
He said he didn't need one.
Oh, good. I like the sound of this. Hello.
Leo's coming and CJ's already inside.
Thanks.
Hi. You know what this is about?
Yeah. I stopped by your office before, but...
I was at the reception.
Hi, CJ.
What's going on?
India sent troops into the neutral zone in Kashmir. The UN Security Council is going to try to negotiate a ceasefire, but we believe we're going to start to play a role in the next 48 to 72 hours. You can start to brief the press tonight, so I want you in on some of the meetings throughout the day.
Leo.
Oh, including this one.
This happened last night?
Yeah.
That's what you all were talking about when I walked into the Oval Office?
I'm sorry, CJ.
You told me the lid was on?
You don't have to expect that sometimes.
I got the question, Leo. A guy had a Pentagon source. I denied it. I called it ridiculous.
We know.
Is it 300,000 troops?
Yeah.
A couple of destroyers?
And 4 CVEs.
Oh, guy hit it right on the button. I made fun of him.
You'll tell the room you spoke without knowing the facts.
I guess that's what I'll do.
CJ.
Don't worry about it.
As soon as you tell them India's the story, this is forgotten.
I'm fine. We're across the hall?
Yeah.
His name is Lord John Marbury. He is the hereditary Earl of Sherlbourne. He is the great-great-grandson of a former viceroy, and for 13 years served as the Queen's minister to either India or Pakistan. Lord Marbury is here to counsel the president, and if you think this is all starting to sound like a Gilbert and Sullivan operetta, I don't blame you a bit.
CJ?
Thank you. Yes.
Toby's here.
Okay. Hello.
I feel that I didn't have the opportunity to properly articulate my argument.
Either I'm a trusted member of the communication staff or I'm not, Toby. What was your argument?
That was my argument.
That wasn't your argument.
It was my argument a little while ago when I was arguing in my head.
Are you apologizing?
Yes.
Well?
What?
Apologize.
I'm sorry.
God.
I was trying to do it nicer than that.
Is the pilot still alive?
He had an ACES 200 ejector seat on board.
NATO command in Brussels says the Aegis systems on the North Dakota picked up a tracking signal in the Foul Peninsula, south of Basra.
He's in the middle of nowhere.
Who else is out there?
The 4th Corps of the Iraqi RG would patrol the area.
Somebody's within 10 miles of the pilot.
Our guy is 10 miles from the 4th Corps of the Iraqi Republican Guard.
It's a matter of who gets there first.
Fitz, you got a rescue scenario?
Yeah, the 16th Special Operations Group out of Hurlburt Field.
They use the Pave Hawks.
And the MH-53J.
These are specially equipped helicopters. They fly treetop altitude at about 180 knots.
Mr. President, can I suggest that rather than jumping into a military rescue plan,
please.
that a phone call to Iraqi ambassador...
Phil, you want to check with the embassy?
I'm saying, Leo, that 3 hours spent on diplomatic solutions...
I'll tell you what, Phil. How about I drop you and your $47 million American warplane that's already been picked up by Iraqi radar in the middle of a desert? Then you tell me if we've got 3 hours to find a diplomatic solution before we come get you.
What's his name?
I'm sorry, sir?
The pilot, what's his name?
Captain Scott Hotchkiss,
Where's he from?
Rhode Island,
How old is he?
26.
Rob told me in my intelligence briefing last week that the Iraqi government's put out a bounty, the equivalent of $14,000 US, for any American plane shot down or any American soldier captured. Now, he was just patrolling the no-fly zone, right?
Yes, sir.
He had not engaged.
No, sir.
Phil, if it ends up Fitzwallace has to call this kid's parents, I swear to God, I'm invading Baghdad. Get him back.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. A U.S. Air Force F-117A Nighthawk stealth fighter attack aircraft flying a routine patrol out of Al Jaber Air Force Base in Kuwait was shot down over the southern no-fly zone in Iraq. At this point, we don't know the condition of the pilot. We do know the plane carries an ACES 200 ejector seat and that it was activated. General Richman and General Clancy will talk more about that in a moment.
CJ!
Danny!
Is there a rescue mission underway?
Obviously, there are a number of scenarios being contemplated, but I wouldn't want to speculate. We have been in touch with the Iraqi government, and the president is looking for a diplomatic solution.
There have been no military moves.
No. Chris.
Charlie? Sir. Mr. President?
Fitz, do you have any news at all?
Actually, I think I'm going to have something in just a minute. They'll put the call through here.
Okay.
You mind if I wait with you, sir?
No.
How you feeling?
I feel fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel fine.
The eagle on the seal in the carpet. In one talon, he's holding arrows, and in the other, an olive branch. Most of the time, the eagle is facing the olive branch, but when Congress declares war, the eagle faces the arrows. How did he do that? Do you think they've got a second carpet sitting around in the basement someplace?
I don't know.
Maybe this piece in the middle cuts out and they do it like a basketball court.
I honestly don't know, Fitz.
Excuse me, Chairman. That's your call, the blinking light.
Thank you. I'll stop bugging you in just a minute, Mr. President. Yeah. Thanks. Mr. President, I have Captain Scott Hotchkiss on the phone. He's cleared Iraqi airspace, and he's on his way to Tel Aviv.
Fitz.
Congratulations, sir.
The kid's all right?
He's got a sprained ankle.
Well, that's a job awfully well done, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I owe you one.
No, that's not how it works.
All the same, I'm going to check out that thing with the carpet.
Talk to the pilot.
Seriously, I'm going to get an answer for you on that. Captain Hotchkiss, this is President Bartlet. How's your ankle? Good. Before you say another word, give me your parents' phone number. I never get to make this call.
Is the First Lady still in Madison?
I'm pretty sure I'll check.
Tell me again when the President's back.
3 o'clock, wheels down.
What's his first?
Treasurer of the United States, not to be confused with Treasury Secretary.
The Treasurer of the United States deals with the color of money. What's the meeting about?
Color currency.
Push it, and push his meeting on health and fitness. And went to trade rep and as many of the economic advisors as we can at the 3:30.
Speaking of health and fitness.
Oh, merciful God.
What did you have?
I had half a grapefruit.
Really?
You think I'm lying?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll be in the sit room for a minute. I'd like him when he's done at the site. Good morning.
Leo.
Leo. The Dow's down 260.
Is it gonna rebound?
What do I know? Could somebody get me half a grapefruit? I got Jack LaLanne working for me this week.
Yes, sir.
Hey, let's go around the table for the quick sheet.
Small force of North Korean soldiers may stage an incursion into the DMZ.
That's a reaction to the president's trip to Seoul, right?
Yeah.
Okay. South America?
General Garcia has declared himself in rebellion against Carlos Velasco.
Is Velasco's government in danger, or is this just another crazy general with guns? No offense, Fitz?
Yeah.
The Venezuela desk still says wait till Garcia calls for the elections.
Okay. Africa.
The government of Mozambique is requesting a peacekeeping force to help distribute grain.
A peacekeeping force to distribute grain?
Yes, sir.
Middle East?
Nothing, really. We got a communique from the new ambassador.
To where?
I'm sorry. Kumar.
About what?
Well, a month ago, they reopened the investigation of the Sharif's missing plane.
They find anything?
I don't know, but the emergency locator transmitter never went off, so...
We'll assemble all the military rescue efforts and feed them into state. They can give the ambassador and the Sultan another report.
Yeah, all right. Eastern Europe?
Warsaw transit workers are threatening to go on strike.
Why?
They haven't been paid in 4 months.
Whoa, whoa, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, I just wanted to check with...
The orders were very strict.
Go home.
I am.
You haven't had a day off since the convention. You've been up the past 2 nights, and I don't want a zombie.
Right.
The energy book is done. The Midwest poll is out. Pawn off the surrogate movements and get a few hours sleep.
I just came to check on the Southern governors. Somebody's got to be watching the politics.
Somebody is. The White House Office of Political Affairs.
Where is he?
He's about to go on at Fort Bristol.
You know the Dow's down 270.
Go to sleep.
I'm not fighting with you.
The chairman's here.
Thanks.
The tracks are covered.
Yeah.
We did a legitimate SAR with the UK and Royal Khmer Guard. This was a plane that went down in the Bermuda Triangle. Plain and simple.
And that really happens.
What do you mean?
The Bermuda Triangle.
Does it really happen?
I thought maybe it was like Toscanini landing in the cornfield.
Planes, boats, about 200 of them, including 5 Navy Avenger bombers and the rescue plane that went in after them.
Is there a chance they're gonna find the plane?
We dismantled the ELT, left the plane in 27 pieces, scattered among other wrecks, buried in underwater landslides and limestone cliffs. And if they find the plane, there's still no evidence of anything being anything. These were SEALs, and these were special ops. And these guys know what they're doing.
Okay. Let's obviously stay in touch during the day.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what do you think would happen?
I don't know what would happen to you and me, but I'm pretty sure the president would be invited to see the inside of The Hague.
Yeah, well, they can invite all they want. He ain't going.
Perhaps this would be a good time for you to reconsider your position on an international war crime tribunal.
Perhaps this would be a good time for you to...
Get out of your office.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
Thank you. The information's basically coming from the NSC operations unit.
A cell phone intercept between the Sultan and Habib. The butcher of Kafar will have no choice but to resign.
And we're sure he's talking about Israel.
The butcher of Kafar will have no choice but to resign.
Well, the B-movie dialogue is
Toby and Josh are back. Toby Ziegler and Josh Lyman missed the motorcade in Indiana yesterday. It's taken them 20 hours to get home. They're walking into D.C. right now.
Doesn't matter. Let's assume the Sultan goes to Al Jazeera and announces that Sharif's plane didn't go down accidentally, that it was brought down by the Israelis. What are the options we've come up with so far?
Do nothing?
Which we can't do.
Call Kumar's bluff. Demand they produce proof.
We can't call their bluff.
Why?
Because they're calling our bluff. When they produce manufactured proof, we'd have to say, you manufactured that. And they'd say, how do you know? So, the next option is we defend Israel.
You're not curious why they're walking into D.C.?
No.
What happens if Hezbollah launches a missile at Israel?
Israel attacks
Walking
Lebanon.
into D.C. from where, I guess you gotta ask yourself.
You want to hunker down?
Okay, just for that. When it comes time to give out gang nicknames, you're gonna be, I don't know, but you're not gonna have a good nickname. Ellie had a teacher named Mr. Porty who had no interest in nuance. He asked the class why there's always been conflict in the Middle East, and Ellie raised her hand and said, it's a centuries-old religious conflict involving land and suspicion and culture. And wrong, Mr. Porty said. It's because it's incredibly hot and there's no water. I'm hunkered down. I'm going to East Lansing. We're gonna need a lawyer.
Let her on in, Becky.
Good morning.
Hello. You look sensational in your Gabriella something thing there.
Thank you.
Cloak and dagger.
Look,
Cloak and dagger?
it was one sentence in a 2-page note.
And you sent me a note?
I was asked here on business, which I usually conduct at my office.
I was going to come there, but then I thought between the lobby, the elevator, the reception area, the paralegals area, the associates area, and the coffee room of a Washington, D.C. law firm, there was an outside chance that somebody might recognize the White House chief of staff.
All I meant by cloak and dagger is that I'm not cut out for the security meetings and the secret this and the back channel ambassadors. It's like you're in the mafia.
Well, it may be like I'm in the mafia, but I'm not. I work for the good guys.
It was one sentence. The problem was you were never at the other end of the phone.
That's an entirely different kettle of beans, and we can have that discussion, but history has shown that if you just wait and tell it to a divorce lawyer, you can have half my stuff.
I don't want half your stuff.
You don't know. Some of it's good stuff.
Where are we going?
Someplace quiet where we can talk.
The White House Situation Room.
We just call it that.
Am I even allowed to be in here? Look at this stuff.
It's a map of North America. What are you worried about? Hey, where are you from?
I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Lieutenant, can you throw an opal drill up on the wall? Lincoln, Nebraska.
What's it doing?
It's showing a first strike nuclear attack from Beijing and North Korea. Hey, look at that. Lincoln survives the first of the No, not so much.
Leo.
All right. First of all, we have to go beyond the normal attorney-client privilege here. This is sensitive.
There are no degrees of attorney-client privilege. I don't care if it's sensitive.
No, I'm talking about state secrets with highest security classification. If you told anyone, you'd be convicted of treason and sent to prison probably for life.
No, I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. It's nothing like treason. But if you told anyone, it'd be bad.
What?
Do you remember last May that a private plane carrying Kumari Defense Minister Abdul Sharif went down near Bermuda and that all the passengers, including Sharif, were dead?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, it happened. Kumar has been investigating the accident because they believe there was foul play. And we believe, in fact, we know they're trying to frame Israel. They're producing phony evidence.
How do you know?
I'm sorry.
You said we know. How do you know?
Because we do.
Why isn't it possible for Israel
Jordan, we know any evidence of assassination is manufactured.
How?
Because we destroyed all the evidence.
Stand up.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Stand down, everybody. Where are we?
The Washington Carrier Group will be in position in 3 hours.
We had any further communications from the kidnappers?
No, but the driver's license used to rent the minivan from the Kinkos led us to an apartment complex in Baltimore rented to the same Shahab Khalil. Neighbors say 2 Arab men were living with Khalil. No one's seen them for 3 days.
What about the apartment?
Mail, photographs, numerous fingerprints, even a passport.
They didn't try to cover their tracks?
No, sir. They don't care if we know who they are. They don't plan on being alive in a few days.
What do you want to hit, Admiral?
Khazir training camps.
The Kumaris say those are religious schools.
They're terrorist training camps masquerading as religious schools. We trace Khalil to Zachariah Farouk, leader of the camps.
They close to anything?
Villages, hospitals, a food distribution
We're
center.
suggesting AGM-88 harms. We will hit what we're aiming for.
This is a long-term ally in a highly volatile region.
Bombing Tripoli stopped Libya.
It's more likely to strengthen the resolve of the terrorists and topple a moderate Islamic regime.
If we bomb the camps, don't the kidnappers murder Zoe Bartlet?
Or it sends a message. Kill her or don't, the United States does not negotiate with terrorists.
Our European allies are going to go crazy. They have billions tied up in oil and natural gas pipelines in Kumar.
Screw the Europeans. They've had years to try to convince the Kumaris to get their house in order. What are the chances Zoe Bartlet's still alive?
Hard to say, but I think yes, she probably is. They want to milk this for all it's worth.
Get your people in place, Admiral. We don't go today unless we're provoked. Find her and find her fast. But if Zoe Bartlet turns up dead, I'm gonna blow the hell out of something, and God only knows what happens next.
He's expecting me.
The kid's asking for immunity?
We gave it to him. Dealer's an Algerian friend of his from Paris. They haven't found him yet. Jean-Paul thought he was spiking her drink with ecstasy, not GHB.
Anything else from the kidnappers?
Not yet. But the FBI has traced the driver's license to an apartment in Baltimore. They have names and descriptions of 2 additional suspects and a wealth of new information to work off of.
We need to stall, give the FBI more time. What about the Pakistanis?
Yeah.
You're already doing it?
Excuse me. Hello?
She's been on the phone for hours. People never know what to say. She just ends up consoling them.
Everyone's calling. 22 heads of state. The Queen, the Vatican.
I guess people aren't excited about the idea of our children being in play now.
I know you do.
They gave her a number, Leo. I saw her on CNN. My little girl's a case number now. 5 digits.
Danny Kincannon is going to run the Sharif story.
What?
The Sharif story, Danny's running it. Asked if we wanted to comment.
We all have to believe. It'll be fine.
No. No comment. So what's Walken gonna do? Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war?
I'm really not at liberty to discuss that with you, sir.
Right, no. I'm sorry, of course.
I should get back. Charlie is out in the hall.
What? I sent him home hours ago.
He didn't go.
A rescue operation is obviously called for, but the space shuttles are grounded right now, pending an uncompleted safety review and retrofit.
And the Russians can't get a launch together in time.
How long have they got?
Assuming the present rate of oxygen loss, in 3 weeks, they'll be dead.
Can a shuttle be pressed into service notwithstanding the review?
One's missing half its wing assembly, and the other one's undergoing a complete tile replacement. Now, we can try and speed up repairs.
The concern would then be losing the shuttle crew and the space station crew.
Now, that's the civilian shuttle.
Sorry?
Can we speak with the president?
How long have they got up there?
They run out of oxygen in less than 3 weeks, if the leak doesn't get worse. Sir, the NASA administrator alluded to a non-civilian shuttle.
Werner von Braun's autobiography was titled, I Aim for the Stars. Mort Saul joked he should have had it, only sometimes I hit London. I want hourly updates on everything that's being done to fix this. Thank you, Sidger.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Drive safely. Good night.
Good night.
Evening, Charlie.
Mr. President,
Listening to relentless attacks upon my record seems to have left me wakeful. Thought I'd stretch my legs, so it's really the Republicans' fault that we're caught in this terribly embarrassing situation. I think perhaps the best thing is for us to carry on as if this encounter hadn't happened.
due respect, I'm having a hard time exactly imagining that.
It's 1 in the morning. We both have to be at work in a few hours. And you're standing outside my daughter's bedroom. I say we give it a shot. Night, Charlie.
Good night, Mr. President.
Good morning.
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 What's the status of the space station leak?
Unchanged.
Current thinking on options?
Sections of the space station can be sealed off. There are small compartments the crew can repair to conserve air.
Which just delays the inevitable.
Which buys time to fix the problem.
Ground-based engineers are working around the clock on this.
Around the world.
Which is great and inspirational, and hopefully we'll make one heck of a movie someday. But should these efforts fail, I don't particularly relish the idea of dead astronauts floating weightless in some spaceship sarcophagus. Rescue options?
That's NASA's area.
DoD space program expenditures for the last fiscal year came to $22.9 billion, or $7 billion more than NASA's civilian program. What are we spending that on?
That's what the Chinese would like to know.
Well, since they're not here, maybe you could just tell me.
Missile warning, command and control.
Solar flare watch.
$20 billion to tell us every time the sun burps?
They can disrupt satellite communications.
Yes, and Grand Ole Opry broadcasts. Are we weaponizing space?
Air Force Special Command operates and supports the global positioning system and military communication satellites.
We look at ways space systems can support warfighters in navigation, intelligence.
Is that weaponizing space?
Space-based lasers, highly targeted, no nuclear fallout. Space-based kinetic energy weapons, hunter-killer satellites.
R&D guys talk about a lot of things.
A military space shuttle.
Reusable launch vehicle.
Space bomber.
That has the theoretical capability of launching and dropping a weapon anywhere in the world.
With virtually no ability to detect it in advance.
Out of reach of conventional air defense systems.
Theoretical capability.
No one wants space to become a battleground.
Is that the argument in favor of building it? Is that the argument in favor of not building it? Or is that the argument in favor of building it and not telling anyone?
The answer to that would be yes.
Yeah. Okay. You have to quit and then get rehired. Leo wants you in California.
Greg Brock just released a story about a classified military space shuttle that could be but hasn't yet been sent up to rescue those astronauts. It's already on the website. It'll be on the front page of tomorrow's New York Times. To do this, Brock would have had to assure them that he had it cold, which means whoever leaked it, it's somebody big.